Good afternoon. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today I want to talk about allegations made against Councilmember John Rubbo. I also want to discuss today's groundbreaking ceremony over on Alexander Street. Mayor was there along with some other people. I'm going to play some of that video. So let's talk about it.
In another one, Mr. Rubbo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today I want to talk about corruption. Allegations made against Councilmember John Rubbo. Will there be an investigation? Liam McLaughlin was over at City Hall earlier this week, actually yesterday, speaking about what his office does, and they investigate things like this. Will there be an investigation? Also, I want to talk about the groundbreaking ceremony that happened today. The mayor attended, as well as the majority leader and others. The last remaining property along the Hudson that's yet to be developed. Well, not including JFK Marine, of course. Good evening, folks. Oh, actually, good afternoon. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Thank you for joining me. Hope all is well. I wanted to come on yesterday, but I felt ill. I fell under the weather, and I just couldn't do it. But I'm here, and I want to do the episode. I'm also hoping to get some of the seniors on who were at the rally at Coyne Park and who were there at the walkthrough, just to kind of get a follow-up and see, you know, how they feel about things now that they got to see some of the renovations and stuff done. And hopefully it'll be opening up soon. I don't know if in 2 weeks, but it will be opening up soon. Like my tag. Oop. I got this tag today. Yeah, I attended a groundbreaking ceremony over on Alexander Street. It's a huge piece of property there that's yet to be developed, but it will be developed by a group called Extel, and they will put up 7 buildings for a total of 1,100 units. The mayor was there, majority leader, county legislator David Tubiolo. Others were announced, but they were not there. Wilson Kimball attended. And I want to play some of the video there. I do have the full video and others from the event on the page if you want to go see it all. But I do just want to play this part here. Tasha Diaz spoke. And if you want to see the mayor speak, you can go on the page and check it out. And yeah, it was a who's who. I don't know. Can you hear that? No. There we go. I want to get to the part where the majority leader spoke.
They want to be a part of all the great things that are happening. I want to say thank you to the many organizations, obviously not just to Extel for their investment in our city, but I want to say thank you to the members of the IDA and the IDA board. I see Jamie McGill from the IDA. The members of our team, the planning and development team, the building department.
Let's get the majority leader on there. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'm honored to be here at this epic groundbreaking, and I say epic because as a lifelong Yonkers resident, it is developments such as these that I've dreamt of. And I say that because all of the amenities that this project is going to bring to Yonkers, it's going to bring playrooms, it's going to bring teen rooms, it's going to bring pools and parking. These are all the amenities that is needed in Yonkers to continue the revitalization of Yonkers. So I want to say thank you to everyone that made this possible. Thank you to our mayor for always listening to people when they come with new ideas and development for Yonkers. It is because of you we continue to move forward. I want to say thank you to the IDA for always supporting people when they come in with new ideas. And this is just the beginning for Yonkers. Keep your eye out on Yonkers, because as the mayor says, we are Hollywood on the Hudson. Thank you.
We are Hollywood on the Hudson, and she was definitely dressed the part. Miss Hollywood there with the sunglasses and the shorts, poom poom shorts, as they used to call them back in the days. Now, the majority leader was there, and I wanted to show her part because she killed the housing ordinance. There you go. She is good friends with the developers, and I'm not being negative about those people. I'm simply talking about the majority leader here. She was there, and she said these are the developments that she's dreamt of. What do you mean? You've dreamt of them because you, living in low-income or affordable housing, wished one day to live in luxury apartments? Is that what you mean? Do you know that you represent a constituency that majority could probably not afford those apartments that are going to be built there? And they were hoping that you had increased the ordinance so maybe they could have gotten an opportunity to have an apartment there, at least those that qualify for affordable housing. And now she spoke a lot about low-income housing. Remember that? That was the reason why she did an about-face on the affordable housing ordinance and killed it. She said it didn't address the needs of individuals who qualify for low-income housing, although the conversation was affordable housing. So she confused it to try to confuse you. And she did, for the most part, confuse a lot of us. I was confused, but we figured it out. We understood what she did. She works for the developers. And there you go. That's why she's there. She's calling it the Hollywood on the Hudson, the developments that she's always dreamed of. Forget about her constituents, the ones that she says she fights for, those in need of affordable housing and low-income housing who are not going to be able to have an opportunity to live in those beautiful luxury apartments with all the amenities, the pools and the teen rooms and the youth rooms and the this and the that. Does she even know what's going to be there? I don't even know. Right. So I found that to be interesting that she would be there schmoozing with those developers after killing the housing ordinance. It's not even her district. Where was Shanae Williams at? Does it really even matter? Now I want to just play this guy here. This is the owner. Oh, there was Ken Jenkins. That was a really nasally voice. Did I get the owner in this one? No. Well, anyway, I was going to play the owner, but never mind. But that was the groundbreaking ceremony. I don't know. I kind of crashed it. And they gave me a tag, so I felt like I was a part of it. They put Basement Politics, Xtel. That's the group that's doing the developments. They're called the Hudson Piers. It's going to be 7 buildings, 1,100 units. And again, no increase in the affordable housing. So there will be some affordable housing apartments there, but very minimal. And Tasha Diaz was happy about that after you killed that affordable housing ordinance that you promised you would help get passed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want to move on to allegations made several days ago against Councilman John Rubbo. And this prompted me to want to speak a little bit about, well, not a little bit, I've been talking about it, this entire time, political corruption, right? And it was also interesting that Liam McLaughlin, our city inspector general, was at City Hall talking about what, his office does and their budget. So I'm going to play a little bit of that as well. But anyway, today, again, I want to follow up on comments made by one of Yonkers' longtime community advocates, who I like to think is largely responsible for the recent work done at the Bernice Spreckman Community Center. She's been champion for the elderly for a very long time, fighting hard, making no money, doing all this, even though she's been attacked, right? And she's been accused of various things, including a scammer, which I'll show you here. Right. In case you don't know, the seniors over in District 4 have been waiting to have the community center open back up after having been closed for renovations. The center had been closed for 2 years, according to the seniors who attend the center. However, Councilman John Rubbo of District 4 said it had only been 7 months, blaming the pandemic and items on back orders for the delays. The residents, especially those who attended the rally several days ago and walked through, right, they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear the excuses, and some of them even said the councilman was lying. The councilman walked through the center with the seniors and other members, as well as Steve Sansone, or is it Sasson? No, Sansone, the current Parks Department commissioner. And it was obvious that Councilman Rubbo was getting frustrated, and he just wanted to get out of there. You could tell and see it all over his face. He tried his best to come up with reasons or excuses as to why it took so long and why it was still not 100% complete. He promised them another 2 weeks, but according to one member of the community center, he had promised them 2 weeks twice before. Now, this was the third time. And from what I saw, I'm thinking it's going to be more like 30 days, just keeping it honest, right? John, in my opinion, made this difficult for himself. His problem is his inability to humble himself down and be compassionate. Show some compassion, man. He should have done less talking and more listening. He should have validated their feelings because, after all, they were very real feelings, and they were correct in a lot of ways. Instead, he defended the delays, gave forced smiles, and appeared to be over it all. He was done. The politician in him kicked in, and he began to answer questions as if he was on autopilot. In his mind, I think he was upset, and he was only thinking about one thing. And that one thing was the reason why he was in this predicament to begin with. He has one person to blame, at least that what he thinks is the person, and it's not John Rubbo, but it's Elizabeth Marie. That's right. That's who he blames primarily, right? Instead of blaming himself. Mr. Rubio, as one senior called him, continued to blame Carolyn, and it showed, and his frustration showed, and he couldn't control his emotions, right? And this is nothing new between Mr. Rubbo and Carolyn. He has gone back and forth with her on Facebook and on apps like Nextdoor. And as you will see here in the video in a minute, in person at the center in front of the elderly members of that center, right? John Rubbo struggles to control his emotions. And toward the end of Wednesdays or Tuesdays walkthrough, he slipped up and allowed his emotions to get the better of him, as you will see in the video. He calls Carolyn a scammer, comparing her to lowlives who scammed the elderly, calling as Con Edison. This prompted the people that were there to sign this belief and others to step up and defend her. Eventually, John allowed for David Tubiolo to speak. He was Dave saw what was going on, and he was like, let me cut in and let me kind of, hey, hold on, Dave. John, I got this. Let me speak. And at that point, when he kind of, stepped in to start talking because he saw that John was just going down, right? Ben Ruros from the Yonkers Voice at that point pulled Carolyn to the side and asked her about the comments that he made. So I'm going to play that here. I'm going to show you first where John Rubbo calls her a scammer. He points over to her and calls her a scammer.
September, yes, it was. It was opened in the summer of 21.
It was open for 2 months.
And then it closed 7 months ago. Right? It was closed in 7 months ago. Now, the center probably would have been closed much earlier because some people were writing and saying, because of the Justice Department, it has to be closed. They were trying to get you kicked out of here a long time ago because they wrote letters to the Justice Department.
To fix the bathrooms. There was a woman that urinated on herself. She could not access the
What about the
bathroom.
safety complaints and the problems with the handicap?
3 people fell.
And as I said, in June of 2019, you could go back to the tape where we interviewed then Commissioner Landy in the Parks Department, and he laid out a plan. Because I said, whoa, what about coin? He said, we're going to do Chima first, then we're going to do coin, and then I believe they're going to do COLA. Is that the administration building.
That's Steve Sansone there with the glasses.
So that is the timeline.
Parks
the building
Commissioner.
was not closed for 3 years. 3 years would have been 2019, right? We're open. It was open in all of last summer. The mayor committed to you, actually it was to you, right? So we have to thank you for opening the center last summer. Because you asked, you said, we want to come back. And the mayor said, you know what, it'll be open in the summer before the construction starts.
Excuse me, that's when the parking lot was used for dance and exercise. So these doors were not open for us to actually go in.
This building was open last
I
summer.
remember.
This building, who was in this building last summer? Because Doreen sat outside and told people on the first day, don't go inside, it's not healthy.
That's right. It was open in July.
That's what
It was open in July, but that room was restricted and no one couldn't go to that room, that particular room. July to September.
Right,
Yes, it was open.
Right, the center was open July to, right? So it was not closed for 3 years. It was not even closed for 2 years. It was closed during a pandemic, right? It was closed during a pandemic.
But the repairs that needed to be done was prior to the pandemic, okay? The bathroom, the air filtration system. It has nothing to do.
That's John
with
here
the
trying to come up
pandemic.
with a
Then
bunch
the
of reasons,
pandemic
excuses.
comes, and everything was slowed down. How come
And they don't wanna hear it.
Young Community Center was able to put down a brand new gymnasium floor and welcomed us with open arms to go there? That's where a lot of these seniors are going. Why can't we go here? I pay
You can
taxes
come
in Young.
here.
Can I
Once
come here
it's
for
open-
activities tomorrow? Or we're still waiting for the spring? You told me on the phone,
Yes.
spring it will be open.
Yes, it will be
I'm
open in the
wondering why
spring.
it hasn't been open last spring. Because you couldn't get the workers in here?
Because we were in the middle of a pandemic.
So what?
I'm gonna.
Well, so I
People are still
Yeah.
working during the pandemic.
So anyway, folks,
I know.
the Parks Department has worked extremely hard to get the place up to date, right? It hasn't been closed for 3 years.
Crafted by vet nutritionists,
Oh, got a freaking
scarfed down
ad?
by Rosie.
Nah, this is-
NowNowNow.com.
Sorry.
They're coming for your gas furnaces, oil
I'm trying to get
boilers,
to the
wood
point
stoves,
there.
and
I guess
gasoline fuel.
Yonkers Voice has
It's been
ads.
closed. It was closed
Wait, where did I see that part? I'm sorry.
in the work. Center for 2 years, for 3 years. It was closed in 7 months.
You know what?
ago.
I'm just gonna go to where he interviews Carolyn.
How this place looks. So I want to thank you, yes, for moving.
My apologies.
I think what we need.
That was a heavy one.
It was a heavy
Scammed by that woman over there, and the finger was pointing at you, Kelly. What you have to say?
You know, I'm tired. I'm doing this in the city 30 years. I don't feel well today. I'm here in support of the seniors. You know, this is a gentleman that actually sat down with me with Jereis at a diner and promised me a job in DPW for a family member at $60,000 to $70,000 that he said the mayor knew about if I didn't run against him. So if this is who you want, then this is what you want. I didn't say anything and I wouldn't have said anything, but I'm not going to be attacked. This is the last time I'm going to be attacked. There's more things I know illegally done in this city, and this is not okay.
So, Carolyn,
People there are seniors. Just open the center. It's not okay.
what you see, the statement that you just made,
Yes, sir, it's true.
there is strong implications.
Oh, it's true. And I'm done. And I think maybe the world needs to know what the city is doing here.
So why don't you tell us what the city is doing? So maybe people need to know. It's about transparency, right?
It's about the corruption. It doesn't stop. Now we're looking at a 4th term. Is this what you want? We want to continue to support the friends and family. We want to continue to let an ex-felon that now has his real estate license sell the city. I mean, we have, if you look at everybody, the way the players are on this chessboard, it has to be enough. We have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Carolyn.
I mean, the setup of the city is disgusting. I mean, we have.
So I want to go to really quick the allegations part, but I do want to show where John Rubbo, I think I got it here, called what he said to her to get her that upset.
So you know when you get those calls from Con
Listen.
Edison, they say you owe $1,000 and they're scamming seniors? You're being scammed, folks. You're being scammed by that woman over there. The center was not closed.
Yes, it was.
The
Hey,
center
John,
was not
John,
closed.
there were
Yes, it
John,
was.
there were
That is
rumors
right,
that there were threats. So he says, you know, when you're getting those calls from Con Edison and they're trying to scam you for $1,000, scam the elderly. Well, you're being scammed, and you're being scammed by that woman there. And then so he then went on and kept talking. And then when he finished and Dave Tulliola stepped in, that's when Yonkers Voice pulled her to the side and he asked her to respond to the comments. So according to Carolyn, Councilman John Rubbo sat her down at a diner along with Zehy Jereis, and offered her family member a $60,000 to $70,000 job with the city, so she wouldn't run against him. What's even more surprising is the fact that Carolyn also said John told her that the mayor was well aware of the offer. He told her that, I believe, as to her he told her that the mayor was aware to assure her that the offer was legit. What makes these allegations different than other allegations that we've been hearing about, or I may have mentioned here on Basement Politics, is that the allegations are coming from the person who was offered the bribe. So what does this mean? I'm talking about it because the allegations are public. You can see the original video on YouTube, as I showed you there on the Yonkers Voice page. I've also posted it on my page. So did this actually happen? If so, did the mayor know, or was Mr. Rubbo lying to Carolyn to make the offer more believable? Is this something the Inspector General, Liam McLaughlin, needs to investigate? I think so. If someone is making allegations, as she just did there publicly, I've spoken about it. I'm sure they know about it by now. I'm definitely sure. I'm sure they watched the Yonkers Voice. I'm sure they've seen Basement Politics. Are they going to look into that? Are they going to investigate that? Right? What is political corruption? Political corruption is the abuse of political power by the government leaders to extract and accumulate for private enrichment and to use politically corrupt means to maintain and hold their power, right? So was an offer made, right? Was an offer made, right? It's quite possible John didn't do well against Carlos Burgos in the primary, and the general election had its controversy. I'm so sorry. It's quite possible. I'm sorry. I totally wrote something here and I scratched it out. No, I must say John didn't do well against Carlos Burgos, right? I want to go back to last year in the primary. He almost lost. And in the general election, there was some controversy with John because the working family line had a woman running, or she was running on that line, but she didn't campaign. She didn't do anything. When I looked into who this person was, I found out that she was the sister of John's good friend and realtor here in Yonkers, Henry D. John Balaj. I may say his name wrong, right? So I started to wonder, why was she running and did she even want to win? Because she didn't campaign. But I then learned that that's a tactic used to clog up a line so nobody else can run on that party line. So because Carlos did so well in the primary, he was concerned that he would come back in the general election under that party and possibly win. So he used his friend's sister to help him maintain power. So knowing that this offer is very real, quite possible that he actually did offer her. Besides, I have no reason not to believe Carolyn. Absolutely not at all. I don't think she would put herself out there making these accusations if they weren't true. Now, she said he was with Zehy Jereis. Well, he was convicted of political corruption and spent 4 years in jail for it. Remember when he bribed, basically, or gave Sandy and Nabi gifts and money in order for her to vote on the Longfellow project or the Ridge Hill deal in a certain way? Initially, she was going to vote against it, but then she changed her mind. Because that's what he does. And he has been known to be behind John Rubbo. And I've mentioned this on my podcast before. So again, that makes sense. That makes sense. And Carolyn is very well known by a lot of people in District 4. And I could see him being concerned that if she were to run, he could very well have lost against her. Right? So this is something I believe that Liam McLaughlin should be investigating. He was up in City Hall talking about what his office does. They investigate, possible corruption among elected officials, and other things that the mayor, the administration, or city council, or constituents, bring to their attention. But that's not necessarily true, because it seems like the only thing that he's ever investigated was his political opponent, Michael Cater, for some nonsense quid quo pro. And in fact, that investigation is still ongoing, and they spent so much money on outside, legal counsel and independent investigators that it showed in the budget. And when he was at City Hall yesterday, they actually asked him about that. They asked Liam McLaughlin, why is it that there was such a significant increase in spending on outside legal counsel and independent investigators from the previous year? And I commented on it. I said, that's because he's been investigating Michael Cater in order to keep him down and out of potentially running in the mayoral race that will be coming up. That's what I believe, right? So if Carolyn is making his accusations on Yonkers' voice, it's against an elected official here. She's saying he was present with a Zehy Jereis, a man that's been convicted of political corruption. Is Liam McLaughlin going to investigate? Is he going to investigate? I want to show you some comments really quick that were posted on that video. Shame on these corrupt politicians and making people making false promises to the public. He should never have been reelected. We need competent people on the council like Rubbo. This is what somebody says. Currently, the women we have on the council are not qualified and not intelligent. Shame, shame, shame on you. And those are some of the comments there. I just wanted to share that. I thought that the comment about he's a competent person and the women are not, and they are not intelligent, I thought that was very mean. Now, she mentions that Rubbo said the mayor knew about the deal. Did the mayor know about the deal? I don't know. I think that maybe Rubbo just said that to make the offer more believable. I don't even know if he could have, even done it. Maybe he was going to give the job. I don't know. But I don't know if the mayor, would be involved. And for him to just say that so loosely. And if I were the mayor, I'd have a talk with him after this. I'd say, hey, John, got people making allegations saying that I knew you are offering jobs here to keep people out of elections. Why is my name being brought up? Right? So I don't know if the mayor necessarily was involved in that. I think John will do whatever he needs to do to try to, get ahead, right? And keep Carolyn from running. And she had no intentions of running. That's the funny thing. So he did all this, put himself out there, and she had no intentions of running to begin with. Now, is Liam McLaughlin? No chance, like William said. There is not a chance in hell that it will be investigated. Why not? Why not? Allegations like this are supposed to be investigated by the Office of Inspector General. Interestingly enough, our IG, Liam McLaughlin, the Republican former city council president, was up in City Hall discussing his office budget and staffing. Liam talked about what the Office of the IG does and how many investigations they conducted a year. He says his office is responsible for investigating the various city departments and also investigates allegations and or complaints against elected officials. Whether asked to do so by the council or mayor's office, or if he is alerted to potential corruption by residents of the city. But is that true? Well, we have a resident alerting people of corruption of a bribe offered to her by a sitting councilman. So far, the only elected official to be investigated by the Yonkers IG has been former city council president and his former opponent who he lost to, Michael Cater. However, it seems that when it comes to individuals like Councilman John Rubbo, complaints and allegations by members of the community go unanswered. Some of you may recall several months ago, an email was sent to both the council and the IG's office in regards to possible quid pro quo between Mr. Rubbo and his landlord, AMS Acquisitions, who have been involved in the purchase and development of city-owned property, while John Rubbo sits as the chair of the real estate committee. Yet the IG and the council ignored the email until I began calling the IG's office. When Liam finally got on the phone with me, he said that there was nothing to investigate. The problem with that answer is that when it came to Mike Cater, right, a letter from a Yonkers resident was more than enough, not only to get the council to respond, but also to have Liam launch an investigation that's still ongoing. And a lot of money is being spent, a lot of taxpayer money that we need. Right? An investigation that has cost the city of Yonkers hundreds of thousands of dollars in independent investigators and outside legal counsel. An increase in expenses that was noted in yesterday's meeting when Liam McLaughlin was asked why there was a significant increase in the amount spent on outside vendors from the previous year. And still, they have not come up with anything on Michael Cater. Now, there are new allegations, right, against Councilman John Rubbo that involved bribery. These allegations were made 2 days ago, or say 3 days ago now, by a person who was offered the bribe. According to Liam, this is a matter for the IG's office, but will the IG investigate? This brings me back to my discussion topic. Here we have an elected official who calls out a constituent a scammer, saying she is scamming the elderly in front of members of the community center there, right? Who is also accused of offering a bribe, as well as has been accused of other quid pro quo stuff between him and his landlord AMS, the landlords who own the trolley barn where he has his Yonkers brewing business. So is that okay, Yonkers? Is that okay? First of all, is that okay that an elected official will, attack a woman in that manner? Accuse her of being a scammer, comparing her to scammers, people who scam the elderly, when she's been doing nothing but championing for, fighting for, advocating for the elderly. And she is the reason why that center is where it's at now. Well, a big reason, because I don't want to take credit away from the elderly members who were also out there fighting, who also have been voicing their, complaints. Is that okay, Yonkers? Is that okay, District 4? Is that okay? Are we going to allow an elected official to attack someone for speaking up and demanding action, not for herself, but for others? Are we going to allow the Yonkers Inspector General's office to ignore a blatant complaint or of corruption, or a blatant act of corruption by one of our council members? Ignoring these allegations will be further proof of the much talked about Good Old Boys Club here in Yonkers, where longtime friends and officials protect each other. There is no way we can continue to have faith in Liam McLaughlin as IG if his office does nothing, right, in regards to the allegation involving John Rubbo and Zehy Jereis, right? Remember, Zehy Jereis has a record for political corruption, so it wouldn't be out of character. If we allow this to be ignored, then we can only blame ourselves for things like this to continue. So again, and I know they listen to the podcast. I know they watch, because I get text messages and calls sometimes, depending on the topic. So I know they're going to watch. They're going to hear this. City Council is an investigation going to take place. A city resident has accused John Rubbo of offering her family member a $60,000 to $70,000 city job if she didn't run against him. Is the IG going to investigate? And again, if the IG does not investigate, that's just further proof that certain individuals are protected. And Liam McLaughlin, I hear, and John Rubbo have a great relationship. They have a great relationship from the neighborhood over there, District 4. I hear that Liam McLaughlin protects that area from what people say. He protects certain businesses where fights occur and, people get really hurt bad, but you don't hear about it. It gets quashed, right? It gets swept under the rug. Corruption. And again, if we allow individuals like Zehy Jereis to operate within our government, then we're going to always have to be concerned that there's some form of corruption going on. And that is why we have to call upon the Democratic committee leaders, Democratic party leaders here in the city of Yonkers to say, you have to go. You have to go, Mr. Zehy Jereis. You cannot be involved in our politics here. You have been known to corrupt it. You have been arrested, convicted, and sentenced to jail for corrupting politics here in the city of Yonkers, for corrupting council members. And once again, another allegation by a reputable person accusing Zehy Jereis of corruption along with a council member. And I'm only mentioning it because it's public. It's on the Yonkers Voice video. Did anyone not see that? Anyone not catch it? Well, I happened to hear it when it was re-recorded. I said, whoa, I got to talk about this. This is big. It's very big. Very big. So I wanted to mention that because this is more signs of corruption. But if nothing is done, if this gets ignored, then that just goes to show that our IG's office, that has a huge budget, by the way, huge budget. I believe he gets paid over $200,000, does absolutely nothing. And they're looking to hire more people. To do what exactly? The last complaint or allegations that were sent over to the IG's office were ignored. The council members ignored it. The only one that they jumped on was the Mike Cater quid pro quo allegation, where they signed the letter right away, all 6 of them. But then the second letter only has 5. I'm sorry, am I missing one? Yeah, only have 5. Sorry. Why didn't Anthony Moranti sign the letter the second time? I mean, these are questions that need to be answered. They need to be asked by the somebody, and they need to be answered. So I'm going to tag the IG. I'm going to continue to tag the IG, and I may even call the IG and say, hey, man, I just heard about these allegations from the person who was offered the bribe. This isn't secondhand information. This isn't a rumor. The person is willing to say, yeah, they sat me down in the diner and they offered me a city job if I didn't run in the election. How often does that happen here in the city of Yonkers? From what I hear, it happens a lot. People are given jobs if they don't run against certain individuals. They're put in certain places to keep them out the way. So I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to talk about it. And Tasha Diaz, you funny. You funny style. You're a fake, you're a fraud. You're fake, you're fraud. You don't care about your constituents in the 3rd district. You don't. You care about looking fancy, dressing fancy, fancy sunglasses and jewelry. And you are dressing fancier, I see. Money's good these days. A lot of people are hurting these days, but not you, I see. That majority leader money must be good. Those are your buddies over there, the developers, you know, the ones that you work for. You kept the, housing ordinance to 10% so you can help keep certain individuals out of their buildings. They love you for that. They love you. I can tell they love you. They love you, darling. They love you. They love you. They really do. They love me. They love me. They really love me. They playing you. They don't love you, girl. Trust me. I know that whole situation well. I've seen it time and time again. You're a tool. Tool. A tool. They'll dress you up nice, make you feel real good about yourself until they're finished with you. And then what? Did you get a house in Florida? Shout out to my man, Jim Kavanaugh. He's out in Rhode Island. Yo, Jim, you checking out the house in Rhode Island? So I guess you guys didn't sell it. Wilson Kimball was at the event today. Wilson Kimball is the head of municipal housing here in the city of Yonkers. City council president's boss. That's right. She's the boss of the city council president. She was not in attendance today at the groundbreaking ceremony. Neither was Jim. He's out in Rhode Island, Jimmy Kavanaugh, checking out their house that they have there, because many of our elected officials have multiple properties, man. They do well. They do well. Do well for being in, in city government, having city jobs. They do well for themselves. That's why John will do anything to remain a councilman. He will bribe you with jobs. He will clog party lines with friends, family members. And is somebody going to come and investigate that? Because, it's not too hard. It's right there. It's all right there. Anyway, folks, that's my show for tonight. Yeah, it is tonight, this evening. Political corruption in your face. In your face, Liam. And are you going to investigate your buddy, John? You have to. You have to investigate that, Liam. If you don't, the feds are going to be like, okay, we got something to... Why is he investigating this guy? It's a blatant allegations, man. You got to look into it. You got to look into it. I'm going to ask you about it. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to tag you on this podcast, Liam McLaughlin. So please, check it out. Right? Those are serious allegations. And maybe, Tom Meyer, you got to consider assuring that we don't have convicted felons, specifically political corruption, operating within the Democratic Party. We got to get them out of our party, man. Otherwise, you're not running the ship right, Captain. You're allowing bad people to operate within the Democrats, in the Democratic Party. That don't look good for the Democrats. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. So we have to also discuss that a little bit more, Tom Meyer, if you're going to remain chairman of the Democratic Party. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you for joining me, folks. I appreciate it. Please make sure you share the podcast. If you like it, share it. If you think the information is important, share it. I appreciate it. I just appreciate it. I don't get nothing from it. No money, no nothing. No money, no nothing. I was on Channel 2. Yeah, I was. I was on Channel 2 today. I met the lovely ladies there over at Channel 2 News. Thank you. I appreciate it, William. I appreciate that. Anything else? Oh, yeah, I wanted to read. The whole city of Yonkers is the most corrupt and diseased as you can possibly get. Amacone is corrupt and hides. He doesn't open up the doors, and most of the others are nothing more than leftover lackeys. This is old comments that were left on because again, the Yonkers Tribune used to write about corruption and all that until he got in some trouble, got sued and all that. Now he's on another thing. But I was just looking for stuff and I just came across some of these comments and it's crazy. It's funny. They're funny. How can the president of the Yonkers City Council earn only a few dollars more than his aide? Lesnick earned $65,000 and his aide Carol earned $63,000. And that's true. I've noticed that in some of the salaries too. Like the mayor's salary, some people are making so much more and I just don't understand why. Yeah. But anyway, if you want to go check that out, go check out some of those comments. They're very funny. Type in Yonkers corruption, Yonkers Tribune, and then you get to different articles, old articles. Again, he's not writing anything more recent. He should be writing about this. If we had the old Zehy, he would have wrote about this allegation. He would have spoke about it. He would have put a whole article about John Rubbo and Zehy Jereis offering a city resident a job for her family member, a city job for her family member if she did not run against John Rubbo. And that's serious allegations, and I think that they need to be investigated. So I'm going to be tagging the IG. You guys should share this and tag the IG also. Come on. I need the support. Where's the backup? I'm calling backup, calling for backup. The person needs backup also. Let's help her out. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining me. I'm out of here. But before I go, I want to leave you with a message.
In another one, Mr. Rubbo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping.
Thank you, folks. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, episode about corruption. If you want to see the full video of the mayor speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony earlier today, go check that out. It's on the page. I got the entire video from beginning to end. You can see who was out there. I kind of showed the crowd and stuff. Looks like a lot of important developers and stuff like that. Money people, big moolah people. And of course, the mayor was there, majority superstar leader. Tasha Diaz was there in her flyest outfit, poom shorts, dark Mary J. Blige glasses. She was going down. What's the 411, hun? Let's get it percolating, Mary. Thank you, folks. I'm going down. I always thought that Tasha Diaz looked like Mary J. Blige. Like, if you don't know who Mary J. Blige is, go check out 90s Mary J. Blige. That's who Tasha Diaz looks like. You know? I always, like I said, when I find you her name, I used to be like, oh, who's that? Mary J. Blige. Look at council person. Go check it out. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'll show you guys. How about that? If you don't know. She looks like Mary J. Blige to me, especially when she had the the blonde hair. Very Mary J. Blige-ish. We got the best. I want to get the 90s Mary J. I don't know. I ain't probably going to take me a while to find it. But anyway, if you can, go check it out. 90s Mary J. Blige, you know. She looks just like, oh, man. Anyway, folks, email me. Let me know if anything you'd like to, me to talk about, discuss here in the city, Yonkers. Don't forget, I keep emailing me the information. I appreciate the info and any other news. And also, please keep me up to events. Sometimes I don't know that an event's coming up, so I appreciate it if you guys can say, hey, Freddie, there's this going on. Maybe you should go by there, especially if you would like someone to cover it. Let me know so I can go cover it, like the event that I was at today, the ceremony. I think those things are important. It was kind of interesting to be there and get to see all the different people, the players and stuff, and how, this development stuff is, who are the people involved in the development and all that. It was pretty interesting. Man, I can't find the picture I'm looking for. I can't find it, folks.
Okay. Called me. Okay.
Oh, wait. There she goes. Look, it even says Diaz right there. Look at that. Ain't that something? Diaz. Mary J. That's my stuff. See if I get it. I'm gonna share a picture of her and Mary J together. Not showing me any pictures. That's weird. Anyway, folks, there you go. I don't know why I can't see any pictures. Anyway, I always thought she looked like Mary J to me. Mary J. Blige, the old Mary J. But like when she used to do the, in the 90s, I forgot what the music was called. She was with Uptown Records. Anyway, folks, have a blessed day. And Liam McLaughlin, are you going to investigate John Rubbo? Let's find out. I'm going to keep talking about it, folks. Share the podcast. Share the podcast. Share the podcast. Thank you.
In another one, Mr. Rubbo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Oh. I almost forgot. I wanted to also mention that who was it? It was Brian Hurrah had did this whole article or whatever, not a whole article, but just wrote something on the page or whatever that he does, the Newswire, talking about a billboard that I was going to be putting up attacking Latino leaders. Now, I wanted to mention this because Tasha Diaz, I was speaking about her, and she recently was going to be honored by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. That's right. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce thought it was a good idea to honor the majority leader, Tasha Diaz, who's actually not Hispanic, but I don't know if it doesn't matter if they honor. I don't know. She's not Hispanic. And Lorraine Lopez, who was also honored by the Westchester Hispanic Police or something like that, or whatever. And some people, I guess, were not cool with that. They not a good idea. There's a lot of other Hispanics that need to be mentioned. Why are the same people, again, the recyclables, right? They're always honoring the same people, and these people don't really do nothing. They don't do nothing. Tasha Diaz killed the housing ordinance. She don't care about her constituents, who many are, affordable housing and low-income housing, recipients, in District 3, So she don't care about them. She says she does, but she's schmoozing with developers all the time, looking fly, schmoozing with developers. That's who she really favors. And then I'm getting blamed for attacking Latino leaders. So I wanted to share this post by a member of the community in regards to the individuals that I was accused of attacking by Mr. Brian Hurrah in the Yonkers Newswire. So let's see. This says, Dear Hector, right? Dear Hector Santiago, Jenny Long Wallace, Lorraine Lopez, and Councilwoman Tasha Diaz, enough is enough. Now you are telling people I have mental issues and I'm attacking Tasha Diaz. Interesting that you are all been trying to bully me and soil my name since I've been helping in Yonkers. That's what they like to do. They like to go after other people who start getting involved in the community. It's like very territorial, I guess. None of you know me personally, and none of you know my family to bring them up. Everyone in Yonkers has watched what you all did to me. Even people in the city council thought it was okay to speak on my name as well, or thought it'd be okay to let their counterparts continue. Civil servants, not the effing mob. This is the last day that any of you get to play with my name, my children, or my life. Hector, for someone who pretends to be love is love, if I post every screenshot in my phone right now, the community would vomit at the thought of all the support they gave you. You, the very person who told me I was nothing, and nothing I did in Yonkers mattered because you don't know me. You must be God. Your day is coming. All right. And then Jenny Long Wallace write some comments that, she had the Matthew Wallace Foundation, and she's always schmoozing with the elected officials and stuff. And, they're always schmoozing with her for whatever reason. It's time to change this stuff, folks. Time to change this little whole circle of individuals, the recyclables. Time to change this because they're not good people, many of them. They're not. And they're very, selfish and there for themselves and there to enrich themselves. As you can see with the majority leader, if you don't see it by now, you don't have a pair of eyes that work, because look at how she was there with these developers, rich developers, looking all fancy schmancy, Mary J. Blige with the dark glasses and the fancy clothes, saying how those were her dream developments and they're going to be great for Yonkers, when they're not going to have many individuals who are, affordable housing, who need affordable housing or low income housing, because they're going to be market rate, they're going to be expensive, and they're going to mainly cater to those who are coming to Lionsgate to work, people making big money, right? and you're supporting that. And what about the JFK Marina? And we're talking about people of color, majority leader, and this is a person of color that you guys are attacking. I mean, these are not nice people, folks, and this is why I'm sharing this. And it's childish, it's petty, it really is, it's stupid, but this is elected officials and people who are considered community leaders who are honored by organizations like the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. How can we take you seriously? Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. You're a joke, but I know it doesn't matter because much effort doesn't need to be put into this stuff because it's you get away with it. There's no one going to challenge you, right? You've been getting away with it and doing it for so long and operating with impunity that you can just do whatever you want, like honor people like the people you try to honor. But apparently, you had a change of heart. You took down the flyer and you're not going to honor them now? Why? Why did you change? If they're such great people and you thought that they were such great people that you wanted to honor them, then why are you not keeping the flyer? Why are you not backing up your decision? Stand firm on your decision. But obviously, you know, these are not individuals that should be being honored because they haven't done nothing. Done nothing. Nothing. Tasha Diaz attacks constituents. She attacks members of the community, threatens to call the cops on them, yells at them, threatens other council members in live meetings. Behavior unbecoming of an elected official on many occasions. And what do? And what do we say? Oh, she has a learning curve. Oh, she's working on it. No, there's no learning curve in working on it. Anyone running to be an elected official should know how to act in a city council meeting and should know how to treat their constituents and should know better than to attack them. Just like Councilman Rubbo, who decided to call a constituent a scammer in front of everyone there. Unprofessional. Unprofessional. Way inappropriate. And these are the elected officials that represent the city of Yonkers. I mean, this is like a reality show. It's like a joke almost. Seriously. It's like a joke. So I'm glad that you guys changed your mind, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Is there not anyone else out there that you guys can honor? Is no one else doing anything in the community? No other Hispanics doing anything? No other ones? No other ones? No one else out there doing things for the homeless out of their own pocket, not middlemaning nothing and taking credit for it? What are you guys out there doing, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? What are you doing for the Latinos in Yonkers? What are you doing? Nothing. And you have individuals that start nonprofits like the Matthew Wallace Foundation. And I've seen her many times going at people on Facebook. I'm like, what's wrong with this lady? Aren't you supposed to be some kind of community leader and represent yourself differently? You have this organization that you utilize for what? What are you actually doing in the community as well? What are these organizations doing besides kikiing with elected officials? Trying to live vicariously through them. Trying to stay as close as possible and let the whole lifestyle, kind of trickle on you too, right? They just love that. Want to be somebody. You are somebody. You don't have to be rich and elected official. We all are somebody. We're born somebody. Most famous people, honestly, I just really quick side note, are traumatized individuals who didn't get enough attention as kids. Right? And so they need to have people constantly, giving them attention. They have to be famous. Look at me. And so you see that here in the city of Yonkers. You see that among You know, I call them the minions. And they want to honor one of the minions and one of our elected officials who will tell people in city council meetings to
Let's get it popping.
right, and other things, among other things, that are way inappropriate.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
These are the comments from Majority Leader Tasha Diaz in a city council meeting as she yelled at another black woman, Councilwoman Shanae Williams of the 1st District. And I can tell there's tension among the women. I can see it. I can feel it. There's definitely that tension there. And hopefully they'll work that out. But it doesn't really matter. They'll just got to stick to the script. Stick to the script. And again, Corazon, I don't know if I mentioned this. I just want to say, I get what you were trying to do. I see that they were trying to shut you down with that registry. They want to include it in the housing orders, the new one or whatever. And although it seemed like it was about making sure that everyone read it, that's not usually how they do things. And I don't think that they're really changing. I think that was more about shutting you down, Corazon. They didn't want you to introduce anything and get it and voted on, and so you can take credit for it. They're shutting you down. So anyway, I just wanted to show that there. So again, these are the community leaders that I was accused of trying to attack, which I don't know where that came out of. That was definitely just rumors out of left field. But these individuals are not good people, folks. And I'm going to continue to mention it. And I know some people say, Freddie, don't say nothing about community leaders. I'm going to talk about individuals in the city who have an impact on the city, especially if they have a negative impact on the city. As you can see with certain individuals like, Lorraine Lopez or Jenny Long Wallace, who has problems with people in the community and other people who are of color. I mean, we can't be fighting each other, folks. You know you're being used. Going back to you, Majority Leader, you're being used. But maybe you don't mind as long as you get to look fly, right? I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm definitely out of here. Peace out.
Freddie wins.
Look fly, girl. Look fly.
Freddie wins.
I am Freddie Vasquez. That was your Basement Politics for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Political corruption here in the city of Yonkers, and the same individuals who are constantly circulating within our government, within organizations here in the city. And what are they really doing besides enriching themselves? Look at me. It's all about me. I mean, some of them have been here for 10 plus years, running for numerous positions, switching from one party to the next. Creating organizations to do what? Not a damn thing. You're all a bunch of clowns.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I'm talking about the bad ones. The bad ones, not the good ones.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
All the bad politicians are clowns.
Freddie
We
wins.
see right through you. We're coming for you.
Fatality.
And it's time to change the Democratic Party. So attention, Democrats. You have to understand there's a corrupt individuals operating within the Democratic Party that is corrupting Democratic elected officials here in the city of Yonkers. And many of the votes that they make are influenced, manipulated by these corrupt individuals that you do not see. That individual that was mentioned by Carolyn Elizabeth Marie, Zehy Jereis, who sat down with Councilman Rubbo. He is one of the individuals I'm referring to. He is the one behind Councilman Rubbo. Majority Leader Tasha Diaz. Shanae Williams, I believe. Maybe not Shanae. I don't know if it's Shanae. I know definitely Tasha Diaz, John Rubbo. Who else? I think the city council president. Anyone who use precision strategies. He is behind them. He is the one pulling the strings. And they're committing bribery here. So, folks, I put it out there. It's up to you to act on it.
Freddie
Out of here.
Fatality.
Political corruption.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Over.
No!